Within the space of 3 weeks, she ended up in a wheelchair. So she went to her GP and she said, Rob, I need a sense of hope about that my life is going to be more than how I'm feeling right now. And I would really like to meet other people who are going through similar kinds of experiences. So Rob said, well, why don't you go and see Rose? So Rose is a health connector, somebody who works in Jenny's team on a one-to-one basis. And Rose went to see Kathy in a home because Kathy was struggling to get out because of the severity of her rheumatoid arthritis. And Rose said, I know, why don't you go to the self-management program, which is a 6-week program to help people manage their disease. So off Kathy went, and of course, she was greeted by a group of people with compassion and care and friendship. And from the self-management program, she went to the on-track group, and from the on-track group, she went to the exercise group, and from the exercise group, she went out into the community and was open to the vast resources of things going on in the community. And you can see Kathy in this illustration where she's in the orange jumper and she moves from the medical center out into the community. And let's hear from Kathy to see what she felt she learned about the experience of her illness.
I'm now going out into the community and talking about my experience, and also being able to then signpost people who may be in a similar situation to where I was 18 months ago, and actually showing them that there is hope, they're not alone, that there are people out here who are willing to work with them, help with them, become their friends. And I think that's the most important thing I've learned, is that, you know, people who go through similar experiences become lifelong friends. I've met so many people and I've made so many friends that, you know, I'll be there for them and they'll be there for me.
So Kathy, through the experience of her illness, is introduced to her compassionate community. But to me, even more interesting than the possibility of a new branch of medicine of compassionate communities are the implications. And the implications are that as human beings, we are the outcome of hundreds of millions of years of evolution. And compassion has been an important part of our survival. We carry with us this compassionate potential. It's a treasure that is open to us wherever we are, whether we're in our homes, in our communities, doesn't matter, everywhere. And in addition to this treasure, we have the power of choice. We can choose to be more compassionate. So, the science tells us that compassion, love, laughter, and friendship helps us to live longer, be healthier and happier. Imagine if in your town everyone chose to be a bit more compassionate than they already are. Imagine if the 7.7 billion people of the world chose to be a bit more compassionate than they already are. So please, be kind. It makes a difference.
All right, another powerful video. I think that sentence of compassion is a treasure that's open to us wherever we are was really powerful. And I intentionally paused my screen sharing in case anyone wanted to come off of mute and share what their experience is like of listening to that video, if anything stood out to you in particular.
I think that it's quite true. I'm a sciences and engineering. I'm retired. And one of my kids developed a fairly serious chronic illness. And I've been very compassionate towards him. And at this point now, he's in a group home where he's happy. He does volunteer work. He goes out for walks. He's made friends. Before he was worried that I was his only friend and what's going to happen when I die. And I assure him that he'll make friends. And here he is. He's made friends. He goes out for walks. He helps people in his group home and he feels good.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Mariana. I'm happy to hear that they made friends.
My
and
mind is, I feel so much better.
that-
I'm a widow, so I've been a single mom since I was 52. But I take no nonsense or crap from anybody.
Thank you so much for sharing. Would anyone else like to share? Yes, Bill.
I find it something that's sorely needed. It seems to me that a lot of what we're talking about is it's like returning to something I remember experiencing as a child, when families were still, extended families would still be in the same area. So you'd see your grandparents on a regular basis, and people were known in that community. And over the last 50 years, there's, the demands of society and the economy or whatever have just totally stretched those things. And as was pointed out earlier, that with the new generation, what do they crave? Money, money, power, reward, the house. It's all about, the focus has been all on material things. And I think there's a reality that as we grow older, the wisdom comes from realizing that those things don't have value. That the value is in these relationships that we do have, and our roots, and the compassion that connects us to community. And I think in some ways that's what motivates me, and what I'm trying to do in my community. Because it's a, day to day, it's an up and down thing. There are some days where I'm just like, I've had it, fed up, leave me alone. But I get up the next day and, and I keep pushing because I'm looking at the future. And I see the value in this kind of effort and the need for it. And while I'm still able, I feel like I want to try to push to me so that when I get to that point where some things are really needed for me, that there is something in place.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you for sharing that. And I really appreciate what you were saying about how just times have changed, and also just the introduction of technology and being, in some ways, in theory, we're all more connected, but then we're also more disconnected in some ways. And I just wanted to share my screen once more because what you were just sharing, it leads in really nicely to my next question, which was about, and if people are open to sharing, about a time where you either offered or experienced connection and compassion with those around you. And what was going on, what were you doing, and how did you feel? And I think Mariana gave such a beautiful example. Bill, you talked about what motivates you to continue to stay involved in your community. I just wanted to open the floor if anyone else wanted to share anything, either in the chat if that's more comfortable for you, or if you wanted to share a story with us. About, a time where you experienced connection and compassion. And I'll give folks a minute to think about that. I know know it's a big question. And it's interesting too, even in that video, there were these comments about when we connect with people who have similar experiences to us, how it can really facilitate that experience of compassion and understanding, of just meeting people who get it. I actually, I grew up navigating a chronic illness, and getting to meet other people who were navigating the same thing was validating in a way that I had never experienced. And getting to talk about things with people who just understood it, where I didn't have to, you know, explain myself, was really reassuring. And I imagine that others may have had a similar experience. So I'll just give folks another 30 seconds, and there's no pressure to share. It can also just be something to reflect on individually.
I'm sorry, could you repeat what you said, just the beginning? I didn't get that.
Yes, no problem. So the question is on the screen. So it says, tell us about a time where you either offered or experienced connection and compassion with those around
Right.
you. Yeah. So it's
What
about,
did you say about your own case?
about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one who came off of mute. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I was saying that in my own life, I navigated chronic illness when I was younger, and meeting other people who had similar experiences was really special and really powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. So maybe again, something to reflect on. In the chat, someone says that they experienced and offered compassion at church, or so being part of faith communities. I know that for a lot of folks, that brings a lot of meaning. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we'll move into the next piece here. So now I'm going to share about 5 different opportunities to start to take action and get involved in different opportunities within the community. Some of these are virtual, some of them are in person, some of them are within North York specifically, because that's where the Neighbors Project is focused right now, but a lot of them are also going beyond that. So just to reiterate, there's the program that Alex introduced to us, the Community Connectors program. So that's an opportunity to connect one-on-one with a volunteer to learn about the different programs and resources in your area, and to set some healthy living goals. As she mentioned, there is specifically, there are 2 different phone numbers here. One is for residents of 3174 Bathurst Street. The other one is for the WEC Community Support Center. So just wanted to mention that as an offering, and we will include all this information in that resource package we mentioned. So don't stress about writing down the phone numbers if that's a stress for you right now. We had that awesome introductory session with Andres today, and Andres leads a number of different virtual exercise programs with LumaCare. So they have daily online classes, including gentle fitness, chair fitness, and Zumba. So if you enjoyed that 10 minutes with Andres, you're able to sign up here. I believe that the sessions are free. And it's a great way to stay connected and do that from the comfort and safety of your own home. And again, we will include these links, or I'll put them in the chat after I'm done speaking, and then we'll also send them in the resource package. We mentioned this briefly, but there's another online fitness program called Dancing with Parkinson's, and they deliver free daily online dance classes. So they have over 100 people from across Canada join every day to dance together online. And they've created this incredible community of people. So people get to not only do the exercise class together, but they also get to chat and connect. And it's a really nice way to not only have an opportunity to get moving, but to also meet new people. Our colleagues at HPCO, they have what's called a Connection Cafe. So this is more focused on conversation and connecting with people who might be navigating similar experiences to you, but they have a virtual cafe every Wednesday at 1 p.m. So again, we'll include that information in the chat and in the resource package, but just wanted to mention one other offering. And then finally, in the chance that you are available next week, we have a session on November 22nd at Barbara Frum Library in North York. And this is, it's a workshop on healthy and happy aging for seniors, and it's called Let's Start Moving. And so we have Andres, who is with us this morning, leading that exercise session. He's going to be, he's going to join us for that session. So it'll be a little bit of information about the importance of physical activity and how to stay active. And then we'll go into an exercise class. And again, a great opportunity to meet new people. And to register for that, you would call the library or you can email them. And finally, so for those of you who are interested in getting involved in the community as a volunteer or taking initiative within perhaps a residence building that you live within, there's this amazing program called NORC Ambassadors. NORC stands for Naturally Occurring Retirement Communities. This is an initiative run by the University Health Network Open Lab. They're another innovation lab, kind of similar to Health Commons. And they partner with seniors who are living in high-rise buildings to start or strengthen aging in place initiatives. So it's really, the intention with that is that it's led by seniors, it's led by the community, and that you can have different types of engagement opportunities within your building to facilitate that connection or to make it easier to talk to your neighbors and build connections. So there is a link that, again, we'll include, but they have a website where you can sign up if you're interested in that type of session, or sorry, in that type of opportunity. And so as we wrap up this session together, something that can be helpful to do as we're all together is to set an intention about how we want to nurture the relationships in our lives. We just spent the entire morning talking about the importance of social connection. We've learned about the impacts it has on our health. We've also learned about the importance of having different types of relationships and quality relationships. And so I want to invite everyone to just reflect on this question, which is, what is one intention you want to set to nurture the relationships in your life? And as you reflect on that, there are a couple of things. One is that as we're setting an intention, it can specifically be about seeing more friends, or it can be about something that's just about social connection, but there's also an opportunity to couple different types of activities that relate to our pillars of health. So it could be not just about social connection, but also how can we use that to also facilitate more opportunities for physical activity and for nutrition. Because as we know, it's easier to try new activities when we have someone to do them with, and when we have someone who's holding us accountable. Like, for example, even for myself, I'm more likely to go to a dance class if I know that a friend is going to be there and I told them that I would go. Or if I know that I'm going to see my friend online in an online cafe or something like that. So all to say that as we're thinking about our intentions, it could be, for example, that when we're thinking about social connection, it might be that you're going to try maybe it's that you're going to try going to a virtual fitness class with a friend. You're going to go together, or it might be that you join a walking club in your neighborhood. It might be that you host a potluck within the building that you live in, or with a small group of friends, or that you want to commit to having dinner with a group of friends once a week. There are so many different ways that we can couple these activities so that we're not just experiencing the benefits of social connection, but also nutrition and physical activity, which overall contribute to our health and well-being. And so I want to invite people to take a minute or two. You can think about this, or you can write this down. But as we do intention setting, here are some prompts that you might think of. So we can say, I intend to do blank, or I hope to do blank, or I will do blank, or I dream of whatever it is. And so these are some prompts to get you thinking about the intention that you want to set. So I invite you, we'll take 2 minutes. So it'll be quiet for 2 minutes. And in that time, if you want to think about the intention that you want to set to nurture your relationships. And then after that, if people feel comfortable, they can share with the group what their intention is. And that can also help in terms of accountability, like just saying it out loud and sharing it with the group. So we'll be quiet for 2 minutes as people think about their intentions to nurture relationships in their lives. And if there are any questions, please do ask. Give another 30 seconds. Okay. So I would love to hear if maybe a few people want to share. You can put your response in the chat if you'd like, or you can share if you want to come off of mute. But what intention are you setting today to take action to nurture the relationships in your life? Well, there's a great question in the chat of what do you advise is the best way to make new friends? That's a great question. I mean, I would love to hear from others on what they think or what has helped them in making new friends. I think our intention for this session was to introduce a bunch of different opportunities or ways to engage with different programs in the community. But if anyone else wants to answer that question, I would welcome it.
Sometimes by taking courses and things that you are interested in, you meet people with similar patterns, similar, thoughts, and enjoying the same courses. And you might be able to make a relationship over there.
That's great. Thank you so much, Mariana. Yeah, exactly. Like having shared interests really helps, because if you enjoy the same activities, that's a good way to start connecting. And I'm just really mindful of time. If anyone does want to share an intention that they're setting, also, again, if not, it's okay. I know that this is quite personal, so it's mostly something that we want to leave you thinking about, and the importance of being able to set intentions and take action on things when we are feeling dissatisfied in any way. And just finally, I saw there was a question in the chat about how to motivate or persuade people to join different activities. That's a great question. I think even by I mean, it's wonderful that you want to introduce them to a new opportunity or a new idea. It can be scary to try new things. And I think being able to introduce different ways for people to engage, again, like if they are someone who is comfortable with virtual or online, that might feel more approachable than doing something in person, or being able to have a group of friends do something together so that it's not just, you know, them trying something new on their own. And I'll just wrap it up here. And Alex, thank you for sharing. She says that she intends to call her youngest sister once a month. She lives in the US and they don't talk enough. So thank you, Alex, for sharing that. And I'm going to wrap it there. I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for your listening, for your openness, your vulnerability, and kindness today. I know that these are some really big topics, and we hope that you can take a little bit of time to, like, you know, reflect and care for yourself as we continue the day. So I will pause there and hand it back to Patricia.
Thank you, Zoya, very, very